That's Manly Beach. If you want to go to Manly, you can either drive there, but it's going to be a hassle. So what a lot of people do, they take the scenic route and they take a ferry from Circular Quay all the way to Manly. Yeah, Manly Beach is really nice. And fun fact, can anyone take a guess why it's called Manly Beach? It's a very literal definition. Can anyone take a guess?
Lots of men.
Lots of men? Kinda. You're in the right direction. Can anyone take a guess why it's called Manly Beach? that's actually the joke, yeah. No, so when the first British fleet arrived in Australia, they were settling around Manly Beach and they saw that a lot of indigenous men looked really buff. They were like, hey, those guys look pretty manly, so they named it after that. I mean, even now it kind of makes sense because there's a lot of manly men out there, so yeah, if you're keen on looking for some men, then you can go to Manly, I guess. That's Manly. I've been there twice already and it's pretty nice, so yeah, definitely recommend visiting. Right here closer to us, do we see this bay with the grey wharf in the middle? Let me try and describe this, yeah. The one with the Navy ships, yeah. That is Woolloomooloo Bay. W-O-O-O-O-M-O-O-L-O-O. Can anyone spell it back for me? I'll give you a prize for it. Woolloomooloo. Can we all say it together though? Woolloomooloo. Woolloomooloo, yeah. We sound like a cult. That actually just means baby kangaroo in indigenous language. And yeah, it's a pretty nice meaning. Do we see that grey wharf in the middle where all the yachts are parked? That is actually just apartment complexes, except for the one at the very end, without any boats parked around it. That is a mansion owned by Russell Crowe. Yeah, from Gladiator or Thor Love and Thunder. And he doesn't even live in that house most of the time. It's kind of just his holiday getaway house. Most of the time, it's just his maid and his dog that live there. He tried selling the house for $26 million, but the highest someone offered him was 23, so he didn't quite accept it. I mean, that poor guy could have just like booked a spot at the church, sold his spot, and made enough money to buy it. But yeah, no one's bought it so far, and if that maid is probably living her best life because she pretty much owns the house since Russell Crowe barely visits. So you can apply to be Russell Crowe's maid, and you can have a chance at owning the house pretty much. Right behind Woolloomooloo Bay is another bay with a lot of yachts. That one is Rushcutters Bay, and every Boxing Day, which is 26th of December, we hold yacht races starting from Sydney to Hobart, which is in Tasmania. And it's also home to Sydney's biggest yacht racing clubs, the things rich people do, I know. But yeah, if you do manage to own a yacht over there, invite me because I've never been on one and I'd like to know what it feels like. Right behind Rushcutters is another bay. We're going to be talking about a lot of bays today. The bay behind Rushcutters is Double Bay. It's a small bay, but it's very terrible. The prices of real estate over there, like houses, average is $6 million. Yeah. And the highest price someone's paid for a house there so far is $98 million. And yeah, if you do manage to buy a house there, please invite me to your housewarming because I want to know what that rich life is like. I'm tired of watching MTV Cribs. I want to actually visit a house. And yeah, do we see those two islands in the middle? So you might be thinking, oh, do people actually live there? Like, do tribes live there or indigenous people? But no, they're actually just owned by the government. The one closest to us is called Clark Island. So by now you probably know how creative we are with our names. Can anyone take a guess why it's called Clark Island? Sorry? It was a Clark? Like some guy named Clark found it? Yeah, that's kind of it. So some random bloke named Clark planted some vegetables on the island, and then we decided to name it after him because the convicts stole it from him, and then we think it's historically significant. But yeah, you can actually book the whole island for weddings, major functions, and you can even visit using a ferry from Circular Quay. The one further from us is Shark Island. Can anyone take a guess why it's called Shark Island? Sharks. Sharks live there? Not quite.
Around them.
Can anyone else take a guess? So if sharks don't live there, why else could it be called Shark Island?
It looks like shark.
Yeah, it looks like a shark. It looks like a shark's fin from above.
Yeah.
And similar to Clark Island, you can book the whole Shark Island for major functions. So your weddings, bachelorette parties, maybe a funeral. I don't know why you would want to do it there, but yeah. That's pretty much it for the east side. Does anyone else have any questions about this side, or shall we move on? Yeah. Oh, sorry? Taronga Zoo. It should be over there, so in the direction of Manly Beach, it's that extension of the forest.